Pax Soprana is the sixth episode of the HBO original series The Sopranos. It was written by Frank Renzulli, directed by Alan Taylor and originally aired on February 14, 1999. Starring, James Gandolfini as Tony Soprano, Lorraine Bracco as Dr. Jennifer Melfi, Edie Falco as Carmela Soprano, Michael Imperioli as Christopher Moltisanti, Dominic Cainese as Corrado Soprano, Jr. Vincent Pastor as Posse Bonpensiero, Stephen Van Zandt as Silvio Dante, Tony Sirico as Paulie Gualtieri, Robert Iller as Anthony Soprano, Jr., Jamie Lynn Sigler as Meadow Soprano, and Nancy Marchand as Livia Soprano. Credit only. Guest starring John Hurd as Van Markazian, Jerry Adler as Hesh Rabkin. Also guest starring. Episode recap: after a long wait, a soprano has finally become the boss of the DiMeo crime family, and it's Tony's uncle Jr. But as his lead henchman, Mikey Pomice, says when he busts up Sammy Grigio's card game, Jr. ain't respecting old arrangements. He changes old deals and attempts to have more money funneled toward him, while allowing less to trickle down to his capos. Tony allowed Jr. to gain control of the family in the hope that he himself would be able to be the de facto boss, while leaving Jr. to deal with the headaches associated with being the boss. Thus, the captains come to Tony to complain, letting him know they are unhappy with the way Jr. eats alone, and that Mikey should have let the card game proceed after Sammy brought up Jimmy Altieri's name. Jr. makes another rash decision when he finds out one of Larry Boy Barraz's top earners, Rusty Irish, had sold drugs to the 14-year-old grandson of Jr.'s elderly tailor, causing the boy to commit suicide by jumping off a bridge above the Great Falls of the Passaic. He decides that Rusty should be killed for this infraction, to be made an example of. The next day, Mikey Pomice, with the help of Joey Eggs Marino, abduct Rusty and throw him off the same bridge to his death. After they throw him over, they notice some witnesses sitting on the other side of the bridge and pay them off to say it was a suicide. Livia convinces Jr. to tax Tony's Jewish associate Hesh Rabkin, even though Hesh's arrangement has been in place for decades, dating back to Hesh's relationship with Johnny Boy Soprano, Olivia's husband and Tony's father. When Hesh approaches Tony with the news and threatens to leave the area, Tony aligns with Johnny Sack, the underboss in New York's Lupatazzi crime family, and helps Hesh and Sack present a disingenuous proposition for Jr. to accept. Tony has made the decision himself, but he allowed Jr. to think he was in charge. After more persuading from the other capos, Tony meets with his uncle at a local Little League baseball game to try to convince him to share more of his newfound wealth. With historical evidence related to the leadership skills of Augustus Caesar, Tony is successful. Jr. decides to divide the money he received from Hesh and give it to his capos, $50,000 apiece. Tony later returns his share to Hesh personally. Meanwhile, Tony is having difficulty with his libido, and is fantasizing about Dr. Melfi, through intrusive thoughts and dreams. At his therapy session he professes his love for Dr. Melfi, who tries to explain what he feels is not love, but positive feelings as the result of his progress in therapy. Carmela expresses a jealousy towards Melfi that she's never felt about Tony's co-mayors. Later, Carmela tells Tony that she wants to be the female in his life to help him, and Tony agrees. Even though Tony really controls the family, Jr. becomes the main focus of the FBI. At a banquet to honor the new boss, the feds are in attendance, disguised as servers. With the photographic information they gather from their button cameras, they move Jr. up their hierarchy board, to replace the late Jackie Aprile, Sr. as boss. Tony's position as captain remains unchanged. He is on the same level as the other capos. First appearance, Johnny Sack Sacramini, the underboss of the Lupatazzi crime family, one of the 5 families of New York City. Deceased, Dominic Capri, grandson of Uncle Jr.'s tailor Mr. Capri, who committed suicide after taking designer drugs sold by Rusty Irish. Rusty Irish, murdered by Mikey Pomice with help of Joseph Marino on orders from Uncle Jr. Title reference: the title is a reference to Pax Romana and related terms. which refer to a lack of conflict over a long period of time due to the unchallenged rule of a single dominant power, which Tony hopes to achieve within the Soprano family. Pax Romana was an era initiated by the Roman Emperor Augustus, mentioned by Tony in his conversation with Uncle Junior. Music: the song played when Mikey and his boys shake down a poker game which is under Jimmy Altieri's protection is Willy-Nilly by Rufus Thomas. The song played when Mr. Capri Fitz Jr. for a New Suit is, When the Boy's in Your Arms by Connie Francis. While Junior visits Livia at Green Grove, some of the other seniors are singing to I Whistle a Happy Tune. The song played as Christopher walks into the card game at Satrial's Coconut Boogaloo, by Medsky Martin and Wood. The song played during Tony's first dream featuring Dr. Melfi is, What Time Is It? By the Jive Five. The song played when Tony meets with Johnny Sack during his anniversary dinner with Carmela is Pampa by Gustavo Santaolalla. The song played during the final montage and end credits is an instrumental version of Paparazzi by XZIBIT, a song derived from Gabriel Fauré copyright Espavan. External links: Pax Soprana at HBO, Pax Soprana at the Internet Movie Database, Pax Soprana at TV.com.